G'day, hobbyists, and welcome back to The Hobby, the podcast where we discuss all things related to hobbies and passions, from trading cards all the way through to pop culture and everything else in between. I'm Dean Alsop, your host, and as always, I'm joined by my right-hand man, the Colonel. How are you, Kearnz?
What's happening, man?
Oh, man, it is a exciting day. It is guest episode day. We have a thrilling, awesome Aussie-based guest coming up. But before we invite her to join us, Regionals is happening next weekend at the time of this episode dropping. The following Saturday, my first big One Piece tournament is coming up, and I'm a little underprepared.
Mate, you're going to absolutely smash it. We joke about it on here all the time, but myself and the rest of the hobby clan, we're right behind you, mate.
Well, look, locals on Tuesday night was the first time I'd ran a near complete deck for what I want to be running at regionals. I went 2-1. I got a little unlucky in the loss. And I don't think I will come up against that deck more than once in, say, 9 rounds on that Saturday. So I'm not too concerned about it, but I must say this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night, me and a bunch of guys are going to be grinding some games because, you know, I would love to put in a showing where I hit the top 64. Very hard to do in a large player tournament. Out of 9 rounds, you'd have to win 7, and even then, you're still not guaranteed to make 64. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot. 7 out of 9, man. Like, you'd know as a guy that usually goes 0-3, 0-5, like doesn't get any wins, like how hard it is to get one.
Yeah.
So to get 7 out of 9, you know.
Nah,
I've got a challenge ahead of me.
you'll do fine, mate. What time does it kick off? Is it a nice early start for you?
Yeah, it will be. It'll be a long day. And then I think if you make the top cut, you go back Sunday. But I think that's the top 32. I don't believe that's the top 64. I'm not sure. Like I said, it's my first one. I've got to figure it out. I've got to do a deck list submission and all that stuff this week too. So yeah, I don't know. I'm actually a little nervous, but at the end of the day, I just keep telling myself, like, just be as prepared as you can and go out there and enjoy it.
Have
like,
fun.
you know, just I'll be the guy that will be at a tournament like that, and there's a lot on the line because the prizing is valuable. We've discussed it before. But I will be there chatting to my opponent, having a good time, smile on my face. I'm not going to be the rude, sweaty guy sitting there being like, I'm doing this. It's just not my style. So I'm going to enjoy the day one way or another. But, you know, me being somewhat competitive, there will be a little bit of pressure put on myself to have a decent showing, hopefully. Yeah. If I can leave with a positive win percentage, so say 5 wins and 4 losses, that's like the minimum bar I've set for myself.
Okay, that's still a really high bar to end up in the positive for your first ever tournament.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
So,
I wish you well. I hope there's a part of me that wants you to smash it and top 16, and there's a part of me that wants you to go 0-9. So,
of course there is.
What kind of mate would I be if I didn't want to see you get absolutely pantsed?
Yeah, no, of course. You want me to be just as bad as you are.
Tail between your legs type thing.
Yeah.
Well, I was really lucky as well this week, man. I got to open finally some of my Blizzard Legacy.
Yes.
We spoke about it back on episode 1.
Yeah.
The set that has the Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft, Heroes of the Storm characters in it. And I'm loving this set so much.
They look unreal, man. I actually got to watch you open a box on Twitch the other night. Thank you for doing that, because I did request. I was like, can you open one live so I can see it?
Yeah.
Because you kept just opening them in your dungeon by yourself.
Well, it wasn't by myself. I was sitting there with Mum opening a box with Porge. So, but this, and I'll share some of the photos on socials.
Yeah.
I'd love this set. It's huge though. The first 200 cards have 3 variants of each.
Yep.
And then there's 112 cards after that. So in total, if you were to master set it outside of numbered cards, 712 cards in the set. Crazy.
Great. Whoa. That's crazy.
It's massive.
That is nuts.
Yeah, it's
No thanks.
so
Leaving.
the only thing is, so far through, we've opened 3 boxes now.
Yeah.
As like a family.
Yep.
No numbered cards, so I'm getting a little bit disheartened at that because I don't think I'll be able to open much more. Maybe one more box.
Yep.
And then that'll probably do me. That'll scratch that itch. But I just love to pull a numbered card.
We opened a Topps pristine box, Road to Euro 2024 on stream the other night, and we pulled a numbered Modric signature from Croatia, which was awesome. It's really good fun.
Nice one.
Really good fun, man. Looking forward to hopefully doing more sports stuff.
Yeah, they're great cards.
Yeah. But I reckon that's enough of us because we have an amazing guest waiting in the wings. As always, Colonel, please do the honors and introduce today's guest.
Well, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome our very special guest today. She's a content creator. She loves all things Pokemon. She's an artist, a cosplayer, and I think, is she like the biggest Jigglypuff like fan in the world, maybe? It's Kimthecollector.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Kim, for joining us today. Appreciate it.
I'm excited to be here.
So tell us, Kim, tell us about your childhood, growing up. What were you into? And I also can sense a little bit of an accent on you as well.
Yep. So I grew up in Kansas, which is in the Midwest United States. I've lived in Australia since I was 14, though, so quite some time. It was a relatively small town that I grew up in. My best friends from early childhood were 2 boys that were just very into bugs. And they were the ones that got me into Pokemon. And I remember we got some base set packs and I traded away all of my insect types because I just didn't care about the bugs. I wanted the cute stuff.
Yeah.
And that was kind of where it all started.
Weedles and Caterpies, right?
Just put them in the bin like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't say I'm a Wheel or a Caterpie fan.
One of the more iconic Pokemon, Butterfree, though. Like everyone can get around.
Butterfree I'll go for, yeah.
Everyone can get around.
So Kansas, just for a bit of context, is Kansas like where the Kansas City Chiefs are from, like the NFL team? Like Patrick Mahomes? Those guys?
Everybody knows about them now that Taylor Swift is involved.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. That's actually a good
When I was
point.
growing up, they were not that popular.
Yeah.
Do you get home much?
I've been back in the last probably 5 years. I've been back twice. But then in the previous 5 to 10 years, sort of not at all. It's usually when a big family event is happening. That's kind of the opportunity, but it's so expensive. I don't know if you've tried to travel to the States much, but it's very expensive.
Yeah, it's not cheap. I went to LA 2 years ago, Dallas the year before that, and you're talking like 2,500 to 3,500 return. Like, and yeah, I'd imagine it's probably about the same now. I think you were looking at potentially going to Florida, Kearnz, at the end of the year, and I think flights to there via LA are probably like 2,800.
Yeah, a few grand. The Legends Expo in December.
I thought you were going to Disneyland.
Yeah, well, Disneyland and the Legends Expo.
Right, okay.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah.
Got to make the most of it when you go over, I think.
Yeah, especially with like jet lag, right? Because you know it's a real thing. Like you can't just go there for a couple of days because you kind of hazy and a bit off for like the time that the first day or two that you're there. So you don't want to lose you lose so much time in travel as it is.
Yeah.
I feel like getting back is worse, to be honest.
Yeah, and people always say this, but I don't know if they're. I like to think of it, it doesn't really matter where you're going, but the fact is when you're coming home, it's going to always be worse because you're going back to reality. Whereas when you're going somewhere, even if you are jet lagged, you're like, I'll get over it. Let's go to the bar or go to the pool or go here or go wherever we're going. But when you come back home, it's like, got to go to work, like back to work.
The last time I went to the States, I made the mistake of not checking the international dateline, and I actually got back into Australia. It was like 6 p.m. My flight landed. Got stuck on the train. There were a bunch of delays. I didn't get home until like midnight and I had to go to work the next day.
Oh, that's so brutal.
See, that's what I mean. That's like jet lag on steroids. That just makes it so much more worse.
100%.
Yeah.
When you came across, did any of your collections survive? You were young, 14.
Unfortunately, no. So when I was a preteen, I feel like this is kind of normal, but I went through that phase of like, I'm too cool for those kids, like kid things that I had. So my family and I had a big garage sale before we moved here, and all of my toys, collectibles, all that stuff went in there. And I still look back at it now, not even my Pokemon stuff. I had like troll dolls and all this goofy stuff that would have just been cool to have.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just fun.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, even I reckon that'd be a common sort of occurrence, just moving when you're younger anyway, whether it be overseas or just interstate or from one house to another, do a bit of a garage sale, get rid of all that stuff. I mean, we've talked about it a million times on this podcast, Kearnz, about being so deeply embedded into collecting and then getting to a certain age where it's, you like you said, Kim, it's like, I'm kind of too cool for that now. I've got other things that I want to focus on as you're sort of growing up and aging, and you come full circle, and here we all are as grown adults going, man, I wish I still had those Pokemon cards. If I go back and tell my 14-year-old self, hold on to that, like, it would be unreal.
Exactly. And I mean, it's not even that the stuff I had would be worth anything. I can't remember many hollows that I would have had in my collection, and all of my cards were like held together with a rubber band in my backpack. PSA 0.5.
Yeah.
But it would really just be like that memory and having those things from when I was a kid. But
yeah, Kearnz a bit of a unicorn in that sense, because he's one guy that I know still has a significant amount of his childhood collection. My mum did hold on to a lot of mine, but in that 2021 boom, I just saw dollar signs. So I went around there and grabbed everything and, liquidated a lot. But it was also the start of everything else that's kind of snowballed to where we are now. So I don't necessarily regret that, whereas the Colonel over there still has many of his cards, including your sun-bleached Charizard.
Yeah. So for context, Kim, I go give full credit to my mum on this one, because I collected 2 of everything. So 1 of everything went into the binder and I never touched it. And then the seconds is what I used to play with. So complete base set up to E series master sets are like immaculate PSA 8 better. But my Charizard, see, this is why I had the power as a kid. I had the Charizard sitting on my computer desk from probably 12 to 16, and it was right in front of the window. So my base set Charizard is completely sun bleached. There's like no color through it, but PSA graded it just before they stopped doing the sun damage cards. So I like to say that I've got the very last sun damage Charizard ever graded, because it went through grading and a week later they stopped doing it. So maybe they stopped doing it because of mine. They were like, this isn't fair to give this a PSA 7.
So is that what they used to do? They used to still grade it normally, but not factor in the sun bleached.
Yeah, it wasn't part of the surface grade. Yeah. So
if you were to send a sun bleached one in now, would it get like, if you send it in now, would they just grade it like a 3 because the surface is like cooked?
They'd refuse to grade it. They wouldn't grade it.
Why? They grade creased cards and stuff like that. I'm sure they would still grade it. It'd just be a low grade.
I'm not sure.Maybe we can speak to someone from there. They can tell us.
Let's crack it and send it.
No, we're not cracking it. What do you mean?
If you lose the next Hobby Rumble, that's what I'm going to make you do.
Oh, all right. I know which one we're doing then.
A regrade on the Zard.
Yeah. Kim, before we move on, you mentioned the 2 boys that you used to play with when you were younger. Are you still in contact with them?
I lost contact with them when I moved.
Okay.
Honestly. So I knew them through junior high, and then that was where they kind of fell off.
Right.
But yeah, I think they're good kids. They were good boys.
Yep. I'm gonna do a bit of a time skip here, just for reference on timing. Your bug Eevee-lution that you drew, they'd be so proud of you, being bug lovers. So if only if only they could see what you did for that Eevee-lution, they'd be stoked.
Yeah, I would like to think so.
Getting back into the hobby, you said you moved across at 14. Did you do any sort of collecting while you were here, or was there a period where you came back in?
It was really COVID, I think, that brought me back in. As soon as the pandemic happened and I realized I couldn't really travel, couldn't go out. I mean, I probably could have just saved a lot of money, but realizing that there was such a limitation on what you could really do for fun.
Yeah.
I just got back into something that I remembered enjoying. And it was very, I guess, it was a good trip down memory lane when Sun and Moon was out, especially. I got a few different collectibles that starred some of my favorites. And one of my friends at the time had started doing breaks online. So that was, I guess, the tipping point. I bought a couple of boxes off him of things just to enjoy for myself. And then he was very much into the sports card scene.
Yep.
And I was obviously much more into Pokemon. And he was like, well, why don't you do Pokemon breaks for the kids? And my first handle, I don't know if you would have known me back then, was actually Pokemon Breaks.
Yep.
I have a little sign that still lives with me.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
So I did Pokemon Breaks for a while, and that was kind of what really geared me up into collecting and got me some connections, got me back into the scene, and I just found it really hard to give the cards away.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I definitely share a lot of similarities with you in that story because whilst I, collected when I was younger and then have appreciated watching the collectible market sort of from afar while I focused on other career moves and things, COVID was definitely like a hard launch for me to sort of jump straight back in. You find yourself locked in your house all weekend, and out of nowhere, these Facebook groups start popping up with like 3 or 4 different people running auctions every night, selling singles of individual cards that I couldn't remember, that I haven't seen for so long. And it absolutely kickstarted everything sort of back in. And now I work in TCGs full time. Like it just went from real estate and finance back into Pokemon. Like it's just a wild ride, all sort of from COVID, like from those times. I think there's quite a few of us that would share that same storyline.
and so it was a complete 180 for you. You just went 100% in that direction.
Yeah, just went, it just sort of, you fall back in love with a passion and then realize, you could actually make this a viable career these days. Like, why wouldn't you sort of go after it? Yeah. So which platform were you streaming on for Pokemon Breaks? Was that on Twitch straight away, or did you actually start out on Facebook? Because I feel like a lot of stuff sort of started on Facebook.
Started on Facebook.
Yeah.
Started on Facebook. So I was in my friend's group is Brad Breaks. I'm happy for you to link him. He's a good dude. So I was streaming for Brad to start with. And then that was when I started Pokemon Breaks and kind of branched out and did my own thing a little bit as well. So I did the breaks mostly on Facebook, and that was, I guess, a good incentive for me to just get comfortable in front of a camera, comfortable talking to people in a chat, because it's a weird skill to have.
It is. It really is. I'm actually glad you brought that up. People in the comments, this ain't as easy as it looks, all right?
It's not. It's really not. So yeah, that was, I guess, a really good starting point for me. And then I started, I guess, my own platform with Instagram was the first thing that I made. And it was mostly just mostly just posting hits from the breaks.
Yep.
So sharing, I guess, cards that other people got and trying to promote that platform a little bit more. And then I realized I kind of really enjoyed being in that space. So I started posting some of my own collection. And that was when it really started to grow. And then I started my own Twitch channel, and I did it all wrong, to be completely honest. I started out actually filming what I wanted to post on YouTube, but filming it on Twitch.
Yeah.
So when I didn't have an audience at all, I didn't have anybody talking to me, I was just filming these openings that I was going to post, like edit and post on YouTube. And then it got really complicated when I started having people watching me and chat to me, and I had to pause and stop what I was doing and drop my recording facade. But realized, I guess I like all of those facets. I haven't had a lot of time for YouTube lately because work itself has been really busy. But Twitch is something that I still really enjoy.
You said you felt like you did it the wrong way. That's kind of like an ingenious sort of way of doing it, to be fair though, because you're like, all right, I'm going to go on Twitch and I'm going to use that platform to record so I can edit and post on YouTube. And you're doing what you wanted to do, but you've set up the opportunity for Twitch growth by people randomly popping in and sort of joining you, even though that wasn't your main intent. You're kind of doing two things, like two birds, one stone kind of situation. Even though that wasn't what you intended, it's worked out really well for you in the end.
It did work out well. And it's so nice because the first person that ever came and chatted to me on Twitch, years ago still comes into my stream every time.
That's awesome. I love that. Kearnz was the first person to ever chat in one of my streams, and we've been friends ever since.
Oh, that's so good.
Right there, buddy. Right there for you. I like hearing you say that you struggle to let go of cards. That's when you know she's a true collector, because you sit there and every time you move an item, it really hurts. Your early content around opening products as well. I think one of the great things, and for anyone listening today that doesn't know Kimthecollector, is make sure you go check out her socials, is opening like a 151 UPC. You find such joy in the art of those cards as well and collecting. Now, I know you're a really big master set collector. How would you define yourself as a collector now from those sun and moon days to now? What really drives you to collect?
I'm all over the place. I'm a completionist, and I find it really satisfying to get a master set together. I will admit that. And I love how much effort Pokemon Company obviously puts into creating the set, because I think there's such a flow when you look through the evolutions and you look through each type. I think it just makes sense when you put it all together, and it's really satisfying. But I also, I guess, have my favorite Pokemon that you mentioned. I like pink Pokemon especially. I'm a big Jigglypuff collector. I'm very into Eevee-lutions. So in addition to chasing master sets of things that I like, I also like to chase just sets of cards and Pokemon and characters that I really enjoy. I have every single Sylveon artwork that's been ever made.
That's
I have
awesome.
every single Mew artwork that's been ever made. So I love flipping through those binders and just looking at all of those. But even then, it's a bit of a sickness, really, because I can flip through that and go, I've got 4 of that Sylveon VMAX Altar. Like, I could probably trade one or sell one, but I don't want to, because there's like a full row in my binder. It just feels that way.
No, I totally understand that.
It's hard to let go.
Yeah, yeah. Like Kearnz said, I mean, Kearnz in particular doesn't let go much. I'm a bit more fast and loose in terms of I will go pretty hard at collecting something, and then kind of when I've achieved that goal, I sort of look to move it on and then go to the next one as necessarily as opposed to putting it into storage as such. Because through COVID, when I was getting back in, I just collected almost every copy of artwork of Rayquaza, because I love the big dragon. It was just awesome. Like, I would go into any auction room and everybody would be like, oh, Dean's here. Where's the Rays? Like, pull him out. He's going to buy him, blah, blah, blah. And bought heaps and amassed a huge collection. And then I sold it. Sold it all to one guy.
That hurts my heart.
And now like wouldn't be that long. It'd be like 2 years later, I've started buying Rayquazas again.
And are you paying more?
I don't know, because look, the reality was during COVID, the prices were high, right? You jump into a Facebook chat and a Rayquaza would pop up like for an auction, and it's probably a $50 card now, and I was paying $200 for it in, average condition back then. Because like you said, we're all sitting at home. We've got more money than sense at that point in time. You can't go more than, in Melbourne, it was really bad. We couldn't go more than 5 kilometers from our house. We were like in real lockdown. So, had all this money just to burn through. So just buying Ray here, there and everywhere. And then, sold it to a buddy that I now work with. And he, he's in the business, so he would have doubled what I sold it to him for. But now I'm looking to just start picking them back up again. It's one of those things. I think my journey from previous, say prior to COVID to now, I've used collecting and that to sort of form part of the business to help me get to where I wanted to get to. And I will say it did hurt. It like you said when I said it hurt you. It did hurt when I had to sell all those Rays, because that definitely formed part of my early persona. Everybody was like, oh yeah, that's the Ray guy. And then I sold them all and I just disappeared off into the abyss.
Who am I?
To be fair though, if you pull back the curtain behind him, you'll see a massive shelf of collectibles across metazoo, Pokemon, sorcery, Dragon Ball. So he's just moved into another. But that did hurt, because you were saved as Rayman in my phone, and I had to go change that.
Yeah.
So that was a really big day.
I regret the idea. Well, I regret that they're gone. But if I didn't do that, then we wouldn't have started a business together 2.5 years ago. right? Because I wouldn't have gone into metazoo and all that stuff. But it's not about us. We're here to talk about Kim. I just drawing some comparisons there for sure. But
you have you said you've got 4 of the same Sylveon. I'm going to presume that's either the Evolving Skies or the Eevee Heroes card. But do you have a favorite card in your collection?
Oh, that's always a tough question. When you ask a real collector, like, which one is the favorite one?
One of them would have some symbolic meaning behind it. There's something in there that's the last thing or the first thing she grabs.
Yeah. I have 3 of the Evskis, Sylveon VMAX, and I have 1 of the Japanese. So
okay.
That's
so is that your favorite then? The Japanese one? No?
I've got a Lily Field of Dreams from Sun and Moon.
Ah, very nice.
And she's my favorite. She's a PSA 9, but to me she's a 10.
Yeah.
And I think with that one, exactly like you said, Kearnz, there's lots of symbolic meaning. I think I had some really hard times a few years ago, and when I look at that card, I think she's just so optimistic, and the lights behind her, it's just kind of this joyous adventure, and I think that was just kind of a nice little light for me, and I picked it up at a time that I really needed it. So that's my
awesome.
favorite.
I love that. That's I did anticipate to get a good answer from Kim because she's a real collector. That's awesome. I did actually want to ask though, just going back to when you were saying you got into the breaking scene, was there any kind of, because obviously both Kearnz and myself are Twitch streamers as well, and we open cards for other people, and every now and again you'll pull something and you're like, oh, damn it, like I wish that was mine. You know, has there been a couple of pulls or hits in that phase, in that period, that you were like, God, like I wish I didn't sell that pack. I wish I opened that one.
Yeah, there were 2. The first one was from Eevee-Heroes, and obviously I'm a big Sylveon collector.
Yep.
And I pulled the Sylveon VMAX Alt Art for someone that had no idea about Pokemon. So it was I'd sold the box, and at that time, oh my God, like I look back on it and I just go, oh, I sold the box for $140.
Oh, that hurts even more.
I know. I sold the box for just dirt cheap, and it was so hard to fill the break in the group that I was in, because most of the people that were there were just there for sports cards.
Yeah.
And there was, I think, like 3 or 4 spots left, and this guy just kind of jumped in. He was like, oh, look, maybe my kid will like this. They don't really like Pokemon, but like I'll buy the pack so you can do the break, because I was really running up to like the time that I was scheduled to film. And ended up pulling that, and it was for the guy that just had no idea. And I pulled it, and you would have seen on my face, like I was just shocked. I was like, where are my sleeves? Where's the one touch? What do I do? And he's like, what is that, good? What is that? It's kind of girly. And I'm just like, oh my God.
I feel your pain. I've been in that seat before.
Yeah, that's where the angel on one shoulder is like, celebrate it, Kim, like celebrate the hit, and the devil on the other hand is like, nah, it's not worth much. I'll just cover your pack costs. Like, don't worry about it.
It hurt my heart a little bit, because I think that the other thing was that was obviously the one card that I really wanted out of that set.
Yeah.
And before he'd bought out those last few spots, I was like, look, I'm just going to can break. Like, you know, it's been so hard to fill it. People obviously aren't interested. I've sold it for a pittance.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
and it was the one box I just shouldn't have opened.
Eevee Heroes is a tough one as well, because that was one of those sets that got me through COVID. It was the peak of sort of the COVID sets that came out was Eevee Heroes. It was phenomenal, and I regret having many cards. That one included Kim. I sold that exact card on eBay during COVID for like $780 raw. I don't think it goes for that much right now, but again, that was.
I don't. It'll be really tough, other than probably 151, because I think 151 is just like the GOAT of modern sets. That blue Sky Stream with the Rayquaza and the Eevee Heroes, I think it'll be really hard to top that little bundle, because I haven't seen it recently in collections, but those 2 sets, oh man, they're iconic.
Well, look what you got when you put them together and made the English set. You got Evolving Skies, which is like easily like that is the kind of set that this generation will look back and talk about like the way we would talk about Skyridge. That's what Evolving Skies will be.
Yeah, 100%.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yep.
It's phenomenal.
What do you guys think about the announcement for the Japanese set towards the end of the year?
The Eevee one
Eeveelutions.
or the high class set, I'm going to buy a lot. And this time, I'm not going to sell them. I'm not going to sell them.
Yeah, I like to sit there and go, I don't really, the whole like spectral hat thing, I'm not the biggest fan of. And then you start opening the set and you're like, oh, the cards actually look kind of cool.
They kind of get better, right? Like the Greninja from Twilight Masquerade is the first kind of crystally looking Pokemon card that I'm like, I actually kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is really nice.
Yeah. But anything
Pokemon I'm not quite sold on yet, but I'm hoping with
anything
Eeveelutions.
Eevee and Eeveelution, it's a home run. It's more of a home run now than Charizard. I think they've literally finally beaten that horse too much when you look at like say Obsidian Flames and things like that. It's like, all right, it's time to push something else, and I think Eevee and the Eeveelutions is a good start because there is so many different types. Like it's awesome. Are you excited, Kim, for that set?
I'm stoked. Yeah, I hope it doesn't beat it into the ground. I hope it doesn't take us to a point where people aren't excited about them anymore. But they have. I mean, realistically, they've done so many iterations of Eeveelutions over the years, and people still love them.
Oh yeah.
Are they going to make a new one? I feel like I saw it could just be like Reddit chit chat, right? Which is just BS, not real. But I feel like I heard in the universe.
Yeah, bug grass type.
Oh,
they've got Kim on. She's coming to commission the new one.
That'd be fun. Yeah, I was gonna say there's been lots of whispers and there's been lots of pasta about it, but I don't know if anything's confirmed.
Actually, there's something I did want to confirm. Because I watched back one of your streams, Kim, and it must have been one of the recent ones because you pulled that Eevee card out of a Twilight Masquerade ETB. Is it Twilight Masquerade? Must be. It's got all the Eevees on it, like
the illustration rare.
Yeah.
The illustration rare.
And I think you and your chat were chatting about it, trying to figure out which Eevee was like supposed to be which Eeveelution based on the way they were sort of sitting. Like, one was asleep, and you're like, oh, is that Umbreon or like one was...
Maybe it's the Espeon that's sleeping on the house from...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. That they were discussing. And I wanted to know if you'd actually come up with a list. Have you decided yet on exactly which one is which? Or is it still open?
There's a couple that don't quite make sense to me. So yeah, I'm not 100% sold on that.
Yeah.
But I think it makes sense as a theory.
Yeah, because how many are on there?
8.
I think there's 9.
Or is there 9?
There's 8.
Well, is it 8 or 9?
Well, there's 8 Eeveelutions, but if there's 9...
Well, then there would be the Eeveelutions and just Eevee, which is what I thought.
Eevee.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's been playing on my mind since I watched your stream back and I saw that. I was like, oh, damn it, now I need to try and figure this out. But I can't find a copy of the card. We don't even have one at the shop. Like, they sort of come in and they're gone straight away.
Yeah, it is a popular one. I was glad to pull it.
Yeah. I think you were saying in that stream, like, I think you pulled it like first or second pack, and you're like, this is literally the card that I wanted.
Yeah.
It's always a great feeling when you take that the pressure off. I know it's a set, it's not very popular, but Pokemon Go, very first pack, the gold Mewtwo, and I was like, oh, yes.
How good is this?
Yeah.
Chase over.
Done.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
Now I don't need to open anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that's how it panned out, for sure. Kim, collecting is one big part of the TCG world, but the other part is gameplay. And I know you're quite passionate about gameplay, building decks, the online client. Do you want to talk a little bit about when that started?
Yeah, so that was probably more like 12 months ago. I feel like with gameplay, it was really just a confidence thing for me. I like the online TCG a little bit, but sometimes it's a bit frustrating. I think you can tell when you come up against somebody that, I don't know, it's like as soon as they get to the point that they think they may not win, they just can it. And that kind of ruins the fun for me because I like to see things play out. So I'd gone to my local game store, which is called NJ Collectibles, and I had a really good time. And I was going pretty much every week for a while there and made some friends. I got to learn lots of good stuff. I lost a bunch and I learned a lot from that.
Best way to learn. Best way to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think that's probably where that turned around. And I think the difficult thing with trying to play is keeping up with the meta, because it's fun to build a deck and be able to enjoy it and use it. But to me, my day job is kind of full on as well. So it's kind of like putting the mental energy into thinking, I want to go back and play again. How do I need to change my deck? I just don't have the headspace for it a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So more often than not, if I'm going to play, it's usually like with friends just at home, and it's pre-built decks that I know are relatively evenly matched, and they're they are definitely not up to the current meta, but they're fun to play with. So I like them.
Yeah. No, I can empathize with that. I play One Piece at a semi-competitive level, I would say.
Semi-competitive level.
I actually win games. You don't. So let's not have this argument in front of Kim, all right? We do it on every other episode. We're not doing it today. You are shocking. But it is, Kim, you were spot on in terms of keeping up with the meta. It's a job within itself. In terms of, testing decks, figuring it out, finding the cards, acquiring the cards, and then play testing that deck. And like you said as well, with the online clients, I find that too. If you get to a certain point where you're probably going to win and your opponent also knows that, they just go bang and leave the game. And you're like, oh, come on, like, spend 15 minutes.
Let it play out.
Yeah, I just spent 15, 20 minutes getting you into this position.
Yeah. Give
me the satisfaction of beating you and you not just leaving and me getting a default win.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so that's awesome. That's awesome. So are you is it very much just a casual thing then, gameplay for the time being?
Yeah, for sure. I am going to Pokemon Worlds.
That's awesome. In Hawaii?
Yes.
Yep.
Not playing competitively, I definitely don't have anywhere near enough points to consider that. But I will be there. And when I've gone to like regionals and local tournaments, I know that there's lots of mini games that you can play.
Yeah, like side events and things, right?
Yeah.
They usually do that, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm hoping there'll be plenty of side stuff going on that I can enjoy and get on board with.
Is Worlds next month?
It's in August. Yeah. It's the 16th to 18th, I think.
Oh, God.
Think about all the people you can catch up with too, like all the collectors from around the world and networking content. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's gonna be that'd be so fun.
Why aren't we going?
No, will you pay for my flight?
This guy.
Well,
every time.
We're not going
there.
Sell
all your raise again.
I know you've mentioned a few times that your work's really busy. You're a dietitian.
Yeah.
Have you thought, all right, this is an idea for free. You can take it, patent it. But I was trying to think of how can you like introduce the two worlds together of collectibles and diet. And it's like, well, gameplay is when we play card games, we sit down for hours on end. How can you have a snack, which isn't going to make your hands all grubby with cards, where people can quickly smash a healthy snack to get the best out of their gameplay? I think that's got your name written all over it. Some kind of
idea.
Like a Kim bar or something like that, where people can get it, smash it, keep playing their card games, not wreck the cards. Then you can merge both of your worlds into one.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
it's a really interesting idea.
It's actually not too bad by you.
Yeah, you can.
Usually it is pretty bad. That's actually not too bad.
I have one good idea or one good question a day, and so that's it. So,
well, your last idea was great, and then I did some small, just a very minute amount of research and discovered that it already exists.
Doesn't mean it's not a great idea.
It does. It doesn't. You're right. It is a great idea that somebody else already had.
Yeah. So do you also play the video games that go hand in hand? Obviously, the card games are set up in line with the video games. Are you a pretty big player of those?
Yeah, I've played everything from Let's Go Eevee. That was kind of where I started with the Switch games. I was someone that didn't actually grow up with video games at all. I wasn't allowed. It wasn't something my parents were into. So Having gotten into games as an adult, I'm definitely slow. I don't explore the way that people who grew up playing games do. It's like I kind of stay inside the lines a lot. But I do enjoy them. I think ARTIIEST is probably my favorite so far. But yeah, Brilliant Diamond, I played through. Let's Go Eevee, ARTIIEST. I've finished Violet, but I'm still playing Violet.
Yep.
So I've preferred the newer ones, but yeah, definitely enjoy them a lot.
I've never played any of the modern Pokemon games. My Pokemon gaming experience is like Red, Yellow, Blue, Crystal, Pokemon Pinball, and Emerald version. That's about it. I think once it went past Game Boy Advance and went to like Nintendo DS, that was about the time that I sort of peeled off and just haven't gone back. But I reckon maybe I should go check it out. I mean, it seems a lot more free world roaming now. Where you can actually just jump in the game, run around and sort of do it. I think the closest I came to it was Power World. I don't know if you guys played Power World when that sort of came back, or not came back when it was created. Is that still a thing? Do people still play that now? Or did it just like come and go really quick?
It's dropped off so much. They did do a big update that I haven't installed yet, but I think at the peak it was like 25 million users at a time.
Which
like
is
it
mental.
Blew up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But then it's just dropped off a lot for sure. But I think Brilliant Diamond you might like. I think that's probably the most similar to the older games of the ones that I've played.
Yep.
Whereas ARTIIEST is like the most different.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna take that recommendation and I'm gonna suss it out.
Brilliant Diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That. What game does Kevin Bagon live on?
Kevin Bagon was on Pokemon Go. He still is, actually.
That feeling of catching the shiny Pokemon, like it deserves a good name to go along with it for sure.
Kevin
100%.
Bagon is brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, from a gaming aspect as well, just because more for myself, are there any other games that you play sort of outside of the Pokemon universe? Like, is there other sort of video games or game styles that you enjoy that you might not necessarily stream, but you do play?
I like cute stuff and I like chill gaming. So Disney Dreamlight Valley was really fun.
Okay,
I enjoyed that
cool.
a lot. That one's very cute. And then I also like, I guess the other side of that would be dark fantasy FPS. So Alice Madness Returns was one that I just frothed over. I don't know why I loved it so much, but I've played that game through 3 times. I like Alice in Wonderland. It's a great game. The Devil May Cry series is another favorite. Darksiders, I loved those as well, and was so sad they didn't actually make the final one. I think that was just the worst outcome. But those were great games too.
Kim, with your streaming, you've been able to do something that I think is really cool. And you have been able to merge 2 of your passions into one, which is collecting and also art. So talk us through your live streams and your art series of painting cards. And also, have you been doing art your whole life, or is this something new that you've taken on?
It was a totally new thing, actually. I guess part of it was when I was streaming years ago, I wanted it to be a hobby that I could just enjoy. And a lot of what I was doing on stream was opening packs. And obviously that's really expensive. You can't just open packs for 2 hours every week and expect it to be cost neutral.
Yes.
So that was when I started, I guess, looking for other things to do on stream to hang out with chat. And I'd seen one of my friends on Instagram, Sezadactyl. She does paintings and she was live streaming painting, and she still does. Actually, she's probably my favorite artist. And I thought, you know what, I could have a go at that. And the first card I did was just really not great. It was just goofy. It took me probably 40 minutes, but I had fun doing it. And it was just a nice way to still get to hang out with people and engage with chat and do something creative. So I just kind of stuck with it. And I still have, I'm looking around because I think I still have my older cards. And I've gotten so much better as time has gone on. I've gotten more confident with painting. I've tried lots of different things. But yeah, I can definitely just say it's a nice way to pass the time, hang out with people. It's not a pressured or stressful activity to do on camera. I have always enjoyed creative stuff, but definitely not in a sense of trying to make something that was really good. I think when you're doing, especially commissions,
you are really good.
Oh, thank you.
You actually are. I watched a couple and I was like, this is, and it's funny, like, because I'd hate to do it, but I'm going to compare you to Kearnz over there.
Oh, God.
Unfortunately, because he also, in his streams, when he, like, if it's a new person in the stream and it's the first time they bought in, he'll just grab a random, like, old base set card and then try to draw the picture of it on the bottom and then sign it. And it looks so bad. Like, so bad. But then when I watched yours, I was like, this is phenomenal. Like, it just makes Kearnz's look so bad. Like, yours is, you're actually a really, really talented artist.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, I really enjoy it. And I think it's an enjoyable thing to do. It's given me a good outlet. But I think having the opportunity to do commissions and other people wanting to pay for an artwork does incentivize me to do a really good job and to practice and to get better at it.
Yeah.
So I think that's been a good, like, driver to keep going with it too.
Like anything in life, right? The more effort you put into practice and bettering yourself, the better and the bigger the outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a tried and proven practice.
Yeah. I'm just going to continue to pump your tires a little bit here, Kim, because it's really refreshing watching you open the packs and even common cards you're looking at going, oh, this is a good candidate for me to draw on, or I really like this artist. I love all of their work that they do. And then people can go and follow your My Ko-Fi is where they can get commissions from you done as well. I mean, one of the most recent ones you've done has a Lugia in it. And for me, Lugia, she is just the GOAT. Like, Lugia is the best.
Rayquaza is the GOAT.
Lugia is the best Pokemon.
Rayquaza is the best
I will
Pokemon.
die on that sword for the rest of my life. But
Lugia looks like a seagull, dude.
oh my God.
Lugia is a very cool Pokemon. They're both very cool. I will say I have not painted a Rayquaza yet, so just...
All right, I'm going to slide into your MyFi thing and get a commission done then.
Since streaming, do you want to talk a bit around the importance of building that community? You mentioned that you've got one of your very first viewers is still there today, and you've got the Discord and the My Ko-Fi and all these things. Talk a little bit about how you've been able to connect to others and share your journey with them.
I think that community is probably the biggest thing that has kept me motivated to stay in the online space, to be honest, because you build so many friendships. You get to know people from all around the world that you never would have known before. I think that you learn so much from the people that you engage with. Obviously, not having grown up with games, I find it really helpful. I've got my Discord chat on the side and I'm like, I'm stuck. What do I do? And someone will inevitably know exactly what to do. This is the type match you need.
Yeah.
So I think you can leverage in that way, that you can learn from the people that you're engaged with. I trade cards with people that I've met online. But I think it's also, and probably one of the biggest things for me during COVID was it wasn't just having a hobby, it was having a social circle.
Totally.
Because I think through that time, everyone became so isolated that I personally felt like I really needed some new ways to make connections that weren't just going to work and coming home every day.
Yeah.
So I think in that regard as well, it's been really good for me just to branch out, meet new people, learn some new stuff, focus time and attention on something that's just for fun and just for me.
Yeah.
Is really, really nice. And I think it's also just a nice place. The Pokemon online community is in general just a really nice place. Like, there's exceptions to every rule in that regard. But for the most part, I think the people that you talk to in that community they're positive. They just want to talk about a hobby that we all enjoy. And it is just it's a nice community and people want to help each other. And there's not a lot of scams or weirdness.
No.
which is good.
Yeah, for the most part, we're doing all right. For the most part, I would agree with that sentiment wholeheartedly. Do you? I guess I know we're talking about Pokemon and community, but you also did mention just before when we were talking about video games, and I wanted to ask you, and then I forgot to ask you. You were talking about a Disney game. Do you collect or look to collect anything other than Pokemon with the release of Disney Lorcana that seems to be making small but consistent waves in Australia? Is that something else that is enticing, Kim the Collector to perhaps look into? Or are you just a Pokemon gal through and through?
When it comes to TCG, I think Pokemon's definitely where my heart is.
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about buying a couple of Lorcana singles, in particular with characters that I really like, but it does feel like such a new thing. And especially the cards that I really liked the look of, it was mostly Alice in Wonderland stuff. They're pretty expensive. And I feel like it needs to prove itself a little bit more before I jump on board and get too excited about it.
Yeah, I can understand that. Especially when there's a lot of hype around something, it's the other side of that is quite a large risk. But as somebody that has opened it and played it, I can definitely say it's very, very fun. Disney's IP also just takes us all back to our childhood. Big fan of the movie Hercules, Emperor's New Groove, Aladdin. So when I'm popping these cards out of packs, like just the little kid inside me somewhere is like, oop, just like tickles me like, like, just feels good. Like I was just enjoying it. I was really, really loving it. So, did
you come across, unfortunately this game is no longer with us, but did you come across the collab of Hello Kitty and Metazoo? Because I know you're a big Hello Kitty fan. And I can see you've got some plushies behind you as well.
Yeah.
Did you dive in and grab any of those cards?
No, I didn't see that.
I'm going to send you some.
Oh, really?
So many.
Oh, I would love some cute comments.
Yeah, well, it's technically the only TCG Hello Kitty's ever been a part of. So I will put together a little set and I'll send it up so you can enjoy it, because Metazoo did many great things. That was probably the best one, but it was also the one that killed it. So, it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun, but yeah, it looks great.
Well, thank you so much. That's really thoughtful.
I'm surprised that you brought old Metazoo up over there, Colonel.
Well, it was just because you mentioned, Kim, that you haven't really gone outside of Pokemon, but I figured a collab with Hello Kitty would be something that you might look at diving into.
Well, I'm kind of glad you didn't, though, because you would have bought like a booster box for $200 and then, the company went bankrupt, which was unfortunate. Whereas I'd like to, I'm kind of like the Robin Hood. I'm the one holding the bag. where everybody's like, oh, it's dead. I lost this much. I'm like, well, you don't know how much we've got sitting here. So it's all a bit of fun. But I might jump quickly into, because we've sort of covered off a few things in terms of YouTube, streaming. You obviously got Instagram, TikTok, all these other content. You've got your Mike Ho-Fi, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and then your partner's also sort of in the space as well. How do you go balancing all of that? Because it is like those things take time, and consistency is key into keeping those things alive, as I'm sure you can attest to. So how do you go balancing all of that?
Sometimes not very well, to be honest. I mean,
I feel you.
I mean, if you look at my YouTube and TikTok in particular, it's been a long time since I've posted there. Like when it came to YouTube, I got a bit stung and burned out just by the amount of time it takes to edit long form content in particular. I'm sure you guys are well aware of that, but I would spend, I don't know, maybe an hour and a bit filming a video, and then it would take me, because I'm a novice, probably 6 hours to just edit it into something that was kind of cool. And when I finally did get partnership on YouTube and realized that my ad revenue was around like $2 a month, I just went, oh God, like I'm spending 40, 50 hours a week making content that I don't really even know if people are enjoying. So that kind of burned me out a little bit. And then the other change that was kind of tricky when it came to bringing short form content onto different platforms was Instagram changed their rules about use of audio. So if you use an audio on Instagram, you can't download your video with sound. Even if it's like a voiceover kind of thing, you can't download it to then use on another platform. And that was what I did, honestly, to maintain TikTok and to maintain YouTube Shorts. I was using the same clip across platforms, and not being able to then do that in a way that worked well made that trickier. And I just was like, oh yeah, I don't have headspace for this.
Yeah, that's a bit frustrating when it's like the big guys, you know, Instagram and TikTok and that, they're all having their own punch on, and then it's punishing the people that actually use the platform that got them to where they are in the first place. So if you're listening, Zuckerberg, fix it. He obviously watches this podcast, obviously.
I'm sure he does. Hi Mark.
The content creators, we have to deal with a lot, really, don't we? Because you had the name change from Pokemon Breaks, which was forced from that. And then, you know, as far as something as simple as posting your video across platform, you now have to jump through hoops to get there. Then you've got an algorithm which sometimes like will absolutely love your content, and the next one, like your mum will say it, and that's it. And you're like, okay, content. What's going on?
It doesn't make sense. And I think that's the other weird thing about that content creation space is it changes so much. And as a user, you have no idea. That's probably one of the biggest things that's kept me from ever considering trying to make that a job. Because you don't actually have access to that much information about what it is that's expected to be able to succeed. And exactly like you said, I think you can make a short form video that you work really hard on and you're really proud of, and you think, oh my gosh, people are going to love this. And the views are really poor and it doesn't get that much engagement. You go, oh, well, that wasn't worth it. And then you spend 5 seconds filming something that you're just like, oh, crap, I just need to post something. And that one, for whatever reason, blows up. And it's like, well, what am I supposed to do?
Kim, right before you jumped on, me and Lee were sitting there chatting, and he must have been looking at something, and we were talking about the algorithm, and he's like, man, how can we put up this sick reel and it gets like 2,000 views? Then he slides to another one, and it's like a piece of toast, and it just falls over like this. It's on like 2 million views. He's like, how does that happen? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just it, isn't it?
It's just the reality of the machine, unfortunately.
But the lesson here is what you said earlier around you're doing content at the moment that you enjoy doing with your art.
Exactly.
Longevity comes from doing something that you love. So that's where you'll see your greatest success, is when you're doing that form of stuff, which is why we're doing the podcast, to be honest, because we love
this don't make no money.
we just love talking collectibles, and we love meeting like-minded people. Yeah. And this platform ticks every box for me outside of actually holding the cards. Yeah. I love it.
It's great fun because like Kearnz and I have, you know, we spend a lot of time together talking collectibles, and I guess we just got to a point where we're like, let's talk to other people. So it's like, let's create the greatest hobby podcast that nobody ever asked for. And here we are.
I think it's a brilliant idea.
Kim, we're going to move into the last segment now of the podcast. Fun. So this is one of my favorite parts too.
This is the best part. We always save it till last.
So this
you mentioned something about rapid fire. I'm nervous. My hands are sweaty already.
Yeah. So we did in our last guest episode, we did a really like tailored quiz. And so we're going to do a quiz first, and then Dean's going to have some rapid fire questions for you. Okay. So I know that your emotional attachment to Pokemon is the Eeveelutions. So the quiz today is, what is Kim willing to give up / do to evolve her Eevee? Okay? So I'm going to paint the scene for you. You're in a room and there's 8 Eevees, okay? You have to evolve these Eevees. If you don't evolve the Eevee, they go back to the original owner, okay? So so the Eevee goes back to the original owner. You've got the opportunity now to get yourself real life Eeveelutions, okay? So the first...
But were they happy with their original owner?
They were happy, but they're going to be even happier with you. You're going to be the best Eevee mum out there, okay? So their happiness is peak. All right.
Okay.
So the first Eevee is going to evolve into a Vaporeon. But in order for it to evolve, you have to give up Kansas City barbecue sauce and you can never eat it again.
Okay, I will say Vaporeon is my least favorite evolution, but Kansas City barbecue sauce is like my favorite condiment. Can I negotiate here?
No. Nope.
Can I make my own barbecue sauce? It's not from Kansas City. It is homemade barbecue sauce from Australia.
How similar is it?
Well, can we get our hands on some of that? Perhaps it has become a bargaining deal then.
Yeah.
Like, okay, maybe if you're going to home make some sauce and send it down here, perhaps we could let that one slide.
That sounds like a deal, Bean.
Okay. All right. So you've evolved your Eevee. You've got a Vaporeon in your party. Okay.
Let's go.
Eevee to Flareon. But every sandwich you ever eat from now on has mayo and melted cheese in it.
Sounds like a dream.
No, see?
Yuck. No, I don't know.
So no Flareon?
Oh, but okay, is a burger a sandwich?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that would ruin burgers.
Yep. Everyone has mayo and melted cheese in it.
I can't believe you don't like mayo and melted cheese, Kim. That's just blown my mind.
Scrape it off.
Wait, do you like cheese not melted?
I'm really not a cheese person.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
I like pizza, but that's where the line is. And if,
Yeah.
if I order a pizza, it's like, can I have it with less cheese?
Yeah. Okay. No, fair. Mayonnaise, I get a bit more because it's like the texture of the condiments. Yeah, I can just understand it. I'm not going to go too much into it, but I can understand that.
I'm gonna have to pass on Flareon. I can't think of a good negotiation tactic to like.
Right. So far, you do have a Vaporeon.
She's got a
assuming we get bottles of barbecue sauce.
You get barbecue
You
sauce.
now don't have a Flareon.
Yep.
That's really sad.
All right. Next. I know you like Flareon too, so that's why I made that one a bit. I made that one a bit harder. Okay. The next one is a Jolteon. But Zap controls all of your social media. That's replying to comments and posting content for the rest of your life.
He's a chatty boy. I think he would do a good job with that.
Okay. You've got
He's
a Jolteon.
All right. Little...
See,
Jolts. That was an easy one. Jolts is in the game.
I mean, you think of a cat and you're like, oh, the cat's just going to be like K everything, K.
He loves everybody.
But you see those memes where there's like cats like typing on keyboards like.
He would be a great manager.
Okay, cool. Your next one is an Umbreon, but you can never go to the gym again.
An Umbreon's big
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who doesn't want an Umbreon?
Oh, yeah.
Am I allowed to home do?
I mean, technically, yes, but the idea was body weights are okay, but you can't actually have like physical gym equipment.
Nah, you actually can't. You just can't work out.
That's not fair.
It's an Umbreon, man. Like,
it is an Umbreon.
It's not a Weedle. It's an Umbreon.
God, I'm gonna have to pass on Umbreon. That's cruel.
Yeah,
That's mean. Like, I think for me, I don't know. I think staying in shape is just fun. I enjoy it, but it's like my stress release.
Yeah.
It's part of my routine. I enjoy it. If I go to the gym in the morning, I know I'm gonna have a good day. I feel good about energy, and I think if I didn't have that, I don't know.
No, that's the point. That's what we're. These aren't meant to be easy. I mean, Kearnz over there's like got a bit of a rubber arm, but I don't. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
We're talking about an Umbreon.
I mean, there's 8 Eeveelutions. Your party can only have 6, so I have to make sure that some of these are really difficult. So
I had to let go of a couple.
Okay.
The last one's going to be the most interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm scared. You're doing something on my
Okay, so this one here is really, really time sensitive because I know you've just moved house. So you can have an Espeon, but you must move house every year for the rest of your life. At the end of every year, you've got to move.
What is that? Because I own my house.
It doesn't matter. You can own this house and you can rent it out, But
Okay.
when December comes around, you have to move and live in a different house.
Every 12 months, you just need to go through the painstaking process of packing up everything and moving it to somewhere else.
I would get so good at moving.
You actually would.
Ooh, okay.
I'd get really good at moving.
And I guess
I
Espeon
don't
can
hate
help.
novelty.
All for an Espeon.
I would like the Espeon.
Hey,
Yeah,
there we
okay.
go.
I'll move house regularly for an Espeon.
All right, so we've got Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Espeon so far.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, for a Leafeon, this is so bad. I'm so sorry. All
Is
right.
it worse than the Umbreon?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I still know this is going to pull at the heartstrings. You can have a Leafeon, but Chansey and Jigglypuff were never created in Pokemon and never will. Which
Just erase them.
which also
They're
means
just so ready.
Blissey and Wigglytuff are also never there. And I know someone's got a signed Wigglytuff as well in their collection.
do.
So you can have a Leafeon,
Like a real life Leafeon.
a
though.
real life Leafeon, but Chansey and Jigglypuff were never created in Pokemon.
Leafeon's probably like the one I want the most as well.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to say yes. A real life Leafeon.
Yeah. Yeah, like you know what changed it for me with Leafeon was literally the VMAX alt art from Evolving Skies, where it's like helping push the
Barn.
the bale of hay. I was like, useful, good. I like that.
That's it. I think the V-Star, that's probably my favorite.
The Crown Zenith one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
With it
nice.
just
It's a
laying
nice.
in that little sunroom. It's so pretty.
Oh, but then the Evolving Skies one where it's in the pile of leaves, that's a really nice card too.
Yeah, true.
Cute.
I mean, look, let's be honest. The Eeveelutions never get done dirty.
Yeah.
Their artworks
Yeah.
are always phenomenal.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one here, pet peeve of mine as well. So I'm very similar to you on this one. This is a Glaceon. You can have a Glaceon, but for every card set that ever comes out, you will know all the cards before the set drops. And every time you open a packet of cards, you're going to know what's inside of it. So you have no more surprises anymore when you open a packet of cards.
Does that allow me to say, well, never mind, I'm just not going to open that pack?
Well, it's a bit hard if you're streaming and you're going to do a box break and you pick up the pack and you can, like, you have the vision to see every card in there.
God, that'd be horrible.
So then you have to, like, make up your reaction to,
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah. Or you pick one up and this guy's like, you know, they're like, oh, I'm so excited for this break, and they've spent $600 on a base set pack, and you pick it up and you're like, oh shit, it's got like a,
Boom.
you know, nothing. You
It's a
know,
bill.
there's nothing in
They're gonna
there.
hate
It's
me.
and you've got to try and open the pack and pretend like, oh, what's coming? Oh, it's a bill. Sorry, mate. Like that's a
I
tough
think
one.
I could play that to my advantage. I don't dislike that.
If you walked into EB Games, you could walk in and go, can I have the 10th pack from the left? Like, you'd never miss in
Yeah,
public.
exactly. I've
So
never missed.
there's an aspect of that that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be an advantage. I would gladly accept that.
Okay, all right, cool. You know what? After going through all of these, I realized Sylveon's probably not as bad as what I thought. But
Let me-
anyway, we've got Sylveon, okay? You can never cosplay or draw art ever again.
Oh. Can I paint art?
You can never draw art or paint or there's no negotiating here.
Can I knit?
No.
No.
Nah.
Creative.
Sit there, I'm like, no chance.
Yeah.
Nah.
No creative release through knitting or painting or not even, what is it? The dance, what's it called? When people do
Interpretive
the,
dance?
what was that?
Was it interpretive?
Yeah, interpretive dance. No interpretive dance.
No art.
No art.
No art. No creative outlet. But you have a Sylveon. I can see the struggle.
I'm already negotiating in my head though, because realistically I can be creative in pretty much any aspect. I think you can be creative in your work. You can be creative in problem solving.
Yeah.
I'm gonna accept the Sylveon.
Hey, there we go.
Because if I'm not making art, I'm making damn good spreadsheets.
I love that.
That's awesome. Well,
I love that.
I actually lied. We've got a bonus one in here
I just saw that.
Oh.
because I know that you did create a bug grass Eeveelution. So for that to come to life, for you to have that, there it is.
Oh, it looks amazing. It actually looks amazing.
The Meganium frill with like the Butterfree like antennas. I love it.
Yeah.
Looks so good. You have to give up your entire collection besides the care package that the Hobby Podcast is sending you, and then you can have that in real life.
Hard pass.
Hard pass. Hard pass. There you go.
I mean, that's
I love it. That's a challenging question, and to have my own Eeveelution brought to life would be like a stellar prize. But I've worked so hard on my collection.
Yeah.
I love it. This room is like my happy place. Like you can see part of my shelf behind me, but like I've got so much stuff that just brings me so much happiness, and it's been a long time putting it all together. I don't think that there is a dollar value or anything that you could put on it that I'd just be like, oh yeah, I'll just let it all go.
Absolutely love that. Well, thank you for taking part in that.
So wait, let's just recap. So we ended up with a Vaporeon, a Jolteon, an Espeon,
A Leafeon,
a
a Glaceon.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did.
A Glaceon.
We did go with the Glaceon and the Sylveon.
Yep. So no Flareon and no Umbreon.
Unlucky.
I did all right.
You did actually.
You did very well.
quite well. You did quite well.
I'm pretty happy.
Yeah. So then I guess if that's the end of the quiz, we'll just pop some rapid fire questions. Now these...
Do you have a favorite anime?
My favorite is Dead Man Wonderland.
Oh, I haven't
And-
seen that.
It's really good. I don't know why they didn't make more. It's brilliant.
Okay.
It's funny. It's kind of quirky. It's pretty violent. But yeah, it's a good watch.
Is it a 50 episodes or a 500? What are we looking at here?
I think there might only be like 20. They didn't make much at all.
Oh, that's great.
Unfortunately.
I'm so out of the loop, man, when it comes to animes. Like the closest thing to an anime that I reckon I've watched is like King of the Hill. Like, do you know what that is?
It's animated.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
animated. Like, it's a great show. Like, you know, I play One Piece, right? But I've never watched like the anime. I guess, you know, Pokemon's an anime, right? Or Dragon Ball that I watched growing up. But yeah, there's some animes that Lee has watched and yourself, Kim, and other people that talk about it. And I'm obviously missing out on something.
I think what was the first one I got into? Claymore was a really good one. If you like a good female lead, it's a really, I guess, easy watch. It's not really... I think one thing with anime that's different from other genres of TV is it's very visually loud. Like there's lots of color, there's lots of quick transitions, there's lots of references to Japanese culture that we might not be familiar with. And I think Claymore was just an easier watch.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot. I really like Food Wars, but I don't know that that's a super easy watch.
Okay.
Is Food Wars an anime, or is that sounds like a reality show?
It's an anime.
I just picture like Gordon Ramsay like in a kitchen and having two chefs like doing Food Wars.
If you're into Japanese food and you want to learn more about it, it's worth watching. It's
Okay, cool.
definitely
I might actually check that out.
Yeah. Demonslayer and Jujutsu Kaisen, they're my top two.
I
Absolutely.
haven't watched
King
all
of
of
the Hill.
Demonslayer, but I do really like it.
Yeah.
And King of the Hill over here. God damn it, Bobby.
The last one from me, Kim, is what's your number one collector goal? What set are you looking to complete, or what big card are you chasing at the moment?
I would love to complete Skyridge.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
I'm very far away from completing Skyridge. I'm to complete Skyridge.
Okay. Have you got some of the big chases near the end of it, or?
I've got a few of the big chases.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So I think the best thing you can do is just set a goal of 12 months and go, okay, I need to get a card every, I need to get 2 common cards every second week or a big card once a month, and just
that's a good strategy.
just chew off it little bit by bit.
It is a pricey set though.
Oh yeah.
Because like we sell common uncommons and some rares for Skyridge and stuff, and some of them can be just like for a very basic one. You're talking like $20 to $30 per card. It's it's so that is a true goal. Like for I think anyone to want to complete that set. It's not it ain't easy.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful set.
Yep. Yeah.
There's some incredible artworks in there. I don't know. E-readers, that was a generation of cards that I kind of missed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm getting excited about them now, and I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna get there. I'll get there.
They're the best looking cards, E-series.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised is Legendary Collection there, because I know you love your reverse holos as well, and Legendary Collection has the greatest reverse holos of out there. Is that something on the list as well?
It is. I guess it's probably a little bit below Skyridge. It's hard for me to say why. You did ask about my collection, and I guess the Legendary Collection fits into my vintage randomness. So that's not one that I've tried to put into a binder on its own just yet, because I don't have enough of them. So I have this kind of vintage binder of just things I've picked up at random card shows or been gifted that I like the look of. And Legendary Collection is kind of sprinkled through, and it adds a little bit of spice. But I'm far enough away from having all of those cards that it doesn't make sense for me to try to consolidate them just yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
All right, and I guess right before we wrap up, then, I have found what I like to call the actual rapid fire questions. So I'm going to hit you with a bunch of random stuff just so we can get a quick insight, a quick yes, no, or in the answer. I might give you some options, and hopefully we can just leave everybody with a little bit more of an insight into you. So are you a morning person?
Yes.
Do you prefer tea or coffee?
Coffee.
What is your coffee order?
Long black. Very boring.
That's good. Hey, I like that. I was myself, Kearnz, and another friend of ours went out for coffees this morning. I had to get a cappuccino, had to get an almond latte and an oat flat white, and then one that was like half milk, half water, warm shot, like,
half one pump of sugar-free vanilla with cinnamon sprinkled
Kim,
on
it's a
top.
nightmare. It's a nightmare. So I'm stoked that if we ever get the privilege of going out for coffee, at least I can just, it's a nice, easy order.
Yep, just coffee.
I think I already know the answer to this one, but summer or winter?
Oh, that's really hard. I want to say spring.
That wasn't an option.
I know. I'm negotiating. Well, I don't know. I like dressing for winter.
Yep.
I like winter fashion. I love comfy clothes.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it doesn't rain as much here in summer and you can spend more time outside, but then also you're really sweaty.
Winter.
Probably winter. I think winter is my pick,
Yep,
but that's
I
actually
agree.
a really hard question.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, there's benefits for summer, but if somebody said to me, you can only live in a winter or summer environment, I would only live in a winter environment. Like if I had to choose, because it's a bit easier to warm yourself up than it is to cool yourself down. Is kind of the basic part, but yeah, I agree. Like I like being inside, fire, nice glass of wine, hot chocolate, all those things. Winter fashion as well, rocks. Yeah, it's way better. Because summer fashion these days is like wear as little as possible.
Well, and I mean, Australia is so hot. I think with winter, you've got that versatility. I love being outdoors. I love hiking. I love going to the beach and swimming. But I mean, I could go to an indoor pool and swim if I was in a winter environment.
Yeah. Do you read many books?
I do. Yeah. I'm reading Butter at the moment.
Okay, cool. Because the next one is fiction or non-fiction?
Fiction.
Okay, cool. Are you a good cook?
Yes.
Do you like sweet or savory snacks?
Sweet snacks.
Go-to sweet snack then?
Oh, at the moment, I have been eating. I'm a dietitian. I don't know. I'm expecting something really interesting, and I'm about to talk about like Greek yogurt with fruit. But yeah, no, I've been demolishing a lot of the Chobani no sugar added vanilla yogurt. That's probably my favorite.
Yeah, I was really anticipating like peanut butter M&Ms or something. something a little bit more, adventurous. But no, fair enough. I mean. Yeah.
There's a chocolate that you can get in the US. It's called Unreal.
Yeah.
And it's like Reese's peanut butter cups, but they use quite a bit less sugar. They don't add any kind of chemicals or nastiness to it. They are delicious.
I might have to check those out because I was only recently introduced to peanut butter cups.
But not one.
Oh, what is it?
I have another sweet snack. Sorry, I'm excited about this. I bought a Ninja Creamy. I was given a Ninja Creamy by a friend when I moved into my place, and I've been making my own healthy ice cream. And I do eat a pint of ice cream every night, but it's really good for you, and it's easy, and you can make whatever flavor you want. I've made licorice ice cream, and it's
wait. So forgive me, because when you said Ninja Creamy, I'm thinking about this chocolate bar that looks like a ninja that's got cream in the middle of it, but I'm assuming it's like a Ninja Bullet thing, but it makes ice cream.
It's like a machine. So basically you freeze solid your pint of ingredients, and you can use like unsweetened almond milk and protein powder as your base, and it works to make basically ice cream, which is phenomenal. And then you can add whatever flavors you want.
And
so,
you don't have to feel guilty about eating it. I need to get one of these.
Yeah,
I only just figured that out.
My first
freeze it overnight and then blitz it up. It takes like 5 minutes to turn it into ice cream, and it's awesome.
My first introduction to it, whilst not healthy, was just straight custard. Oh, it was delicious.
That's absolutely no surprise by you. All right. Are you a texter or a phone caller?
Definitely a texter. I hate talking on the phone.
What? That's like my favorite thing to do. Like,
oh, no.
Texting is very much like if you text me and you ask me a question, if I can't respond with one word, that being yes or no, I'm ringing you.
Well,
I just got more time, right? And look, in my previous roles with my previous careers, I would spend a lot of time driving around in between appointments. So trying to text people back is a nightmare. So I would just be like, hey, Siri, call this person. So I guess that's why I'm a caller and not a texter. But everybody seems to go with texting.
I'm a multitasker. I like to be able to do other things. And I think if I'm in a conversation with somebody, I want to be able to give that my full attention.
Yeah.
And I find it really hard to know what to do with my hands if I'm on the phone.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. If you're traveling, car or plane?
Plane.
Obviously, some places you probably don't want to go by car. Like if you're going back to Kansas
I'm not
from
going to
here.
drive to Hawaii, no.
Yeah,
she's not going to spy kids at. I watched that movie the other day.
Yeah. Outdoor activities or indoor activities?
Outdoor.
Do you prefer to now? You might not even do this, but do you prefer to watch sport or play sport?
Play sport.
What sports do you play, or what sports do you enjoy playing?
Most recently, I played netball, and I really enjoy that. Play goal attack or shooter.
Goal attack. I always played goal attack growing up.
Yeah.
I would have blanketed both of you guys. I was a goal defender. Used to play GD.
I'm 6'2".
Yeah.
I don't know if
I think we all are. I'm 6'1", you're 6'2", so it would be an intense little. Maybe we'll do that. We'll go find a little half court. Kim can play GA, I'll go GS, and you can go GD, and we'll see if you can put your money where your mouth is.
I'll cover you both at the same time. It's fine.
I don't like his chances. I don't like his chances. Are you the type of person to plan things in advance, or are you spontaneous?
Probably more of a planner.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I do sometimes shoot myself in the foot and I plan too many things, and then it gets to the day and I go, oh gosh, I'm really tired. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I've been there before. I've been there more so now than ever. Now that I'm a new dad, life is I'm a lot more tired all the time.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I say new dad, but Harry's 8 months old now.
It's still new.
That's still pretty new.
Yeah, it's still new. It still feels new. And just to round out the rapid fire, Marvel or DC?
Oh, I'm not super passionate about either, to be honest.
Then just say DC. Just go with DC.
We'll go with DC.
Yes, Batman. Love that. Love that.
Poison Ivy was always my favorite villain of pretty much any sort of superhero series. I don't know if you watched with Uma Thurman. So
yeah, that was she carried that movie because the rest of it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. The Iceman, no. Iceman Summit, no thank you.
Oh my god, yeah. I used to I thought I loved that Batman film when I was growing up, and I've watched it back as an adult and I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Uma was great.
Yeah, no, Uma was great. She killed it.
I think they're all valuable.
Yeah, No, I agree. But thanks so much, Kim, for your time today and jumping on. Before we let you go, we're going to link all of your socials in the description anyway. But if you could just tell everyone the best places to find you.
Well, thank you guys so much for today. That was really fun. If anybody wants to come get to know me better, I'm on Instagram as Kimthecollector. My Discord is probably the best place to come hang out and chat with me. And I'm on Twitch every single week at 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So maybe I'll see you there.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kim. And we'll definitely see you in the Twitch chat rooms for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for today. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, another good, really, really good guest. Our first technically Australian-based guest.
Yeah, that was
technically
really refreshing. That was such a cool convo.
Yeah.
Thank you to Kim for taking the time out of her schedule.
Massive shout out to Kim. I mean, you know, between a day job of being a dietitian and then all the content creation platforms that she you know basically takes part on, you know that makes for a very busy schedule.
Yeah.
And we're always super appreciative of everybody's time that comes on the world's #1 podcast that nobody asked for, The Hobby.
Yeah, it's cool, like, as content creators as well, watching her journey and how she has the same struggles that we all have.
Yeah.
Across, you know, navigating YouTube and TikTok and all these different types of platforms.
Yep.
And, you know, name change of, like, her whole brand had to name change.
Yeah.
And, it was really cool to sit down and have a chat with, our first Australian, but not guest.
Yeah, but still like kind of not, you know. It was awesome, man. It was awesome. It was really fun. Like the Eevee quiz was awesome. Like that was really fun. Like to see which way she would or wouldn't go.
Yeah,
a couple of surprises in there, but
no Flareon and no Moonbreon. So which I think are her like 2 and 3. You know, like
after Sylveon.
After Sylveon, they're like her top 2. So she had to give those up. So it's always good when you can grab some things, you know, and make a bit of fun like that. So the quiz was great. It was also really cool to hear her talk about collecting, because it's obviously something she's super passionate about.
Definitely.
And across the artwork, across different forms of collecting and different Pokemon and whatnot. It was really cool to get an insight into her thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, for sure. So make sure you go follow her Instagram, which is Kimthecollector.
Yep.
Is that correct? We'll put it all in the description anyway. Definitely jump into a Twitch stream because they're so much fun. I've been in one live one and watched a couple back, and it was really, really fun.
Yep.
She is severely talented. That's just not us making it up. It was really, really good.
And we'll keep you all informed if we do get that barbecue sauce, because
looking forward to that.
Fingers crossed, we get a jar of that.
We're getting the barbecue sauce. we allowed a negotiation to take place. We're going to follow up on that one, Kim. We definitely want that barbecue sauce. Going into next episode, make sure you guys jump over to our Instagram at _hobby_pod. Underscores are an absolute nightmare. It's basically at the hobby pod with a couple underscores in there.
You'll find it.
And go find the Rumble post. Obviously, we were arguing about Jon Snow or Daenerys Targaryen, who deserved to be on the throne, the Iron Throne at the end. Currently, voting has Daenerys ahead. So help me out, guys. Let's put Kearnz 4 punishments in a row. Let's get him. Obviously, I'm not trying to sway votes. If you don't think Johnny Snow should have been up there, 2 reasons. You're wrong.
I've got this one. I've got this one in the bag.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we go. But so don't forget to do that, and then please do follow. Go down in the description, find the Pipe Speak link, call in, and leave us a message. It's honestly like one of the funnest things we get to do on those episodes when we don't have guests. Is the questions and involving you guys. We love it so much. So please go down there and leave us another message so we can chat with you guys. Kearnz, have you got anything else to add?
For like the 7th episode in a row. Nah, mate. I'm in a good spot. It's hand to you to get us out of here.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Wheels up and we are out of here, guys. We will see you next time on the Hobby Podcast.